Assalamu alaikum. My name is Anwar Ali, your brother from Nepal. I have decided to create a playlist for those who would like to learn Arabic and English. I know it would be really a difficult task for those who is willing to learn Arabic with the native teachers. But just as a disclaimer, before we even start, I would like to make the announcement that I'm not a native Arabic speaker, nor am I a native English speaker, and I'm also not any kind of scholars in the language. So I would just like to tell you that I'm just a student who is learning Arabic right now. I also have some backgrounds in Arabic reading, Arabic writing, being a Muslim. I've been taught the Arabic alphabets and how to read in Arabic, how to read Quran, recite Quran. So I have some backgrounds, but I am not a native speaker, nor am I a teacher. But since I've been enrolled with one of the online institutes for a 2 years course of Arabic, and I have a habit that I revise my lessons by teaching to others. So, what would be a better platform to teach than to start by publishing the videos in YouTube so that all of you can benefit from the lessons? I might not be as detailed as in the course, but this would be a summary of what I've understood from the course that I've been taking. So here we begin with our very first lesson. The lesson will cover the introduction to first few Arabic alphabets. I hope you guys are ready. Let's begin. So let's get started with the lesson. And before we even start uh, being introduced to the Arabic letters, let us first note that Arabic is a language where the letters, where the words and sentences are written from right to left. So we might have habit of writing left to right in English language or in some other language. Even in my own country, we have a font called Devanagari, and we write from left to right. But we have to understand that in Arabic and other languages of the same region, like Aramaic or Persian or Urdu or even Hebrew, these are some of the languages where things are written from right to left. Uh, and another thing that we need to understand is, though Arabic is written from right to left or read from right to left, the numbers are still written from left to right. So we should not get confused when we see the numbers. It's written from left to right. And the third note that I have over here is we should not only write from right to left, but we should also understand the way of writing those letters. So same thing can be written from bottom to top or top to bottom. So if we have to draw a line top to bottom, we can start either from bottom to top or top to bottom. But we need to make sure the standard way of writing these letters in Arabic. So if it is prescribed that we should write these letters from top to bottom, we should always make sure that we are writing in a prescribed way from top to bottom. Or if we are prescribed to write something from top left corner or top right corner, then move towards top left corner, then in that case we should follow the exact pattern. Because if we break our pattern, we might have to we might be ending jumbling up the sentence, and which might not look so pretty. It might be understood while we read it, but the way of writing defines how smooth our hand move while writing. So if something is to be written top to bottom, we just follow the same pattern. If something is to be written, some letter is to be written left to right, we follow the same pattern. So while reading or writing, while learning this lesson, I'll be guiding you how do we write the letters. So you should make sure while copying the text from the screen, you make sure you have a pen or a pencil with you along with your copy, and you try to follow the pattern that is prescribed during the lesson. And since I told you that there are lots of languages that begins from right to left, and most of these languages, they also follow the same fonts. So almost all of the fonts of or letters that we see in Arabic are also shared by Persian language and Urdu languages, uh, where most all of the letters of Arabic are available there with some of the additional letters. But we should make sure that we do not mix the pronunciations of all of these languages, because there are so many letters that look exactly the same but they are pronounced differently. So while learning Arabic, let's not take the reference of pronunciation from other languages that might look the same, like Arabic, like Urdu, and like Persian language, which is also called Farsi. So these were some quick notes before we start our Arabic lesson. Now we can see that these are the alphabets, general alphabets, that is in the Arabic. I'll not get into detail like how many alphabets are there, because we will be covering all of those one by one. So today we'll not be covering all of these alphabets all together. We'll just be covering the first four alphabets. So by saying alphabets, I'm just like in English, you can see we start from A and end in Z. We have vowels inside these set of letters, and we also have consonants inside these letters. But in Arabic, it's not the same. So all of these letters are consonants. The vowels are determined by some signs. There are some signs in Arabic languages which we'll be covering in coming days that defines the vowel. So vowel could be a vowel could be e, a vowel could be u, or elongated a, e, or u, which is like, let's say, defined by adding some sign on the top or on the bottom, towards the bottom of the alphabet. Okay, so and we also sometimes mix some letters, these consonants, along with the vowel sign to elongate the sound. So all of these are consonants, it's not mixed with the vowels. This is the something that you need to understand, that just like in English language, we don't mix vowels and consonant in the alphabets. So if we are talking about alphabets, they are all consonants. So today in our lesson we'll be covering the first four alphabets or the consonants in Arabic language, and they are Alif, Ba, Ta, and Tha. These are the like first four consonants of Arabic alphabet. So we'll be discussing all these four alphabets one by one, and how they are pronounced, how they are written, and so on. So let's move on. The first letter or the first consonant of the Arabic alphabets is Alif. So you need to notice it's not Alif, it's not Alif, or it's not Alif. Okay, so we just need to pronounce it in a very simple way, with sound not a or not a. So it's Alif, Alif, Alif. So there is no extra emphasis that is to be made during pronunciations. In Arabic letters, there are some letters that is to be pronounced by some spatial placement of tongue or the lips, but Alif is very simple. We just produce the sound simply without putting any emphasis on our throat or on our tongue or on our mouth, inside our mouth. We just pronounce simply with the sound and join it with lif, so it becomes Alif. So there is no extra placement or extra emphasis made while pronouncing this letter. So the English equivalent of the letter to pronounce is ALIF, Alif. So whenever we write single A, we need to understand that it's quick one, Alif. But if we have two A's in this lesson specifically, we will be pronouncing it as a little bit elongated with a sound. Instead of we'll be pronouncing it as a with elongated sound. Okay, so this is quick sound, alif. Similarly, if we need to pronounce e sound quickly, we will be using I, the letter I, in this entire course. So it is not alif, no, it's alif. So the sound and sound e is pronounced quickly, alif. So this is actually the name of the letter, but while we use it as a sound, the sound of this letter is a. The sound of the letter is only a. This is the significance. I mean, we don't have to use each and every letters that is involved to pronounce the name alif. So there is no significance of la, e, and f. So the sound of this letter is a, but the name of this letter is alif. That's something that you need to understand. The sound of the letter alif that it makes is a sound. And while writing it, just whenever you have a chance, just make sure you have a line, at least one line stretched out from right to left or left to right, just to guide your writing. So if you have a line, a straight line, right to left, for cursive handwriting practice, you can just have a let's say A4 size paper, and you can draw the line yourself from one end of the right to the left, and make sure alif is above the line. So we should not cross the line while writing the alif. So alif is always above the line. There are some letters in Arabic that comes below the line, or there might be dots used in some of the letters that might come below the line, and there are even some letters that appear half above and half below the line. So the placement of alif while writing is above the line, as shown in the picture on the bottom of the slide. So you can see it's just a straight line, but we should make sure that it is not written from bottom to top. It is always written from top to bottom and over the line. So you can see the fourth point: draw a straight line from top to bottom and make sure that the alif ends just above the line. So this is how we write alif in order to produce a sound. Okay, so this is the first consonant that we just covered, alif. Points to be noted: alif, we don't need to put any emphasis while pronouncing it. It's just simple alif sound. Don't try to produce sound like a, alif. No, it's just simple alif. And we should make sure that it is written from top to bottom, just a straight line. And if we have a margin, or let's say a guiding line, make sure we make a line from left to right or right to left, just to guide our letters in a plain paper, and make sure alif ends at the just above the line. So this is how we write, read, and pronounce alif. Let's move on to the second letter, and which is ba. So again, since I told you in my earlier slide that whenever we have two A's involved, it is a sound instead of a sound. So it is not ba, it is ba. This is ba. Alif, ba. But instead of elongating the sound, I'm just using two letters, two A's over here, to give you a hint that it is not a sound, it is a sound. But while pronouncing it, we don't elongate the sound like ba. We just say ba, ba, ba. So this is the second letter of Arabic consonant, which is pronounced consonants, which is pronounced as ba, without elongating the a sound. Ba, ba. Okay, and it's not ba, it's not ba, it's ba. Though I am trying to give you the sound of the letter ba by just elongating a, or whenever I say ba, don't get confused. It's a quick ba. I'm just elongating right now, just so that it is clear for you to listen and grasp the sound. So the second letter of Arabic consonant is ba. It's not ba or it's not ba, it's ba. So how do we pronounce the letter ba? As you can hear, it's naturally pronounced, and we don't need to emphasize much on this as well, but just to give you an overview of the placement, we can just join the wet part of the lips. So just as we move from the dry part, which is the outer part of the lip, we just we just join the wet part of the lip, which is just the starting of the inner part. So we join the top and the bottom lip, the wet part of the lip, and try to pronounce b, and releasing the lips and pronouncing ba. So it is pronounced by joining the wet part of the top and bottom lip of our mouth and saying ba. Okay, ba. So this is the starting point or the pronunciation point of ba. Ba, the wet part of the lips. Now let's move on to how to write. So in the margin or the straight line that we have from left to right or right to left, ba has two components: a dot, as you can see, which goes below the line, and a boat-like structure that is, we call it tangent in the mathematical term. It's just like a boat-like structure which is tangent to the line. So the lower part of the boat is just touching the line. It doesn't cross the line. But while starting this boat-like structure, we just start from the right side and we start creating the boat-like structure, and we end on the left. So we start from the top right corner and start drawing the boat-like structure, and we end at the top left corner. So after we have finished making this boat-like structure, we then add dot at the bottom. So we don't start by dot, we don't start from left. We have to make sure, since Arabic is the language where we read or write from right to left, we should make sure most of our letters, it always start from right to left, even while drawing the letters or even while writing the letters. So we should make sure in this boat-like structure, we start from the top right and end to the top left with a dot at the bottom of the boat-like structure, which goes under the line, and the boat-like structure, the bottom of the boat-like structure just touches the line. So this is how we write ba. The second letter ba, I think there was nothing much complex on reading or writing this. The third one is also simple. It is ta. In English, we have a sound ta, right? So T goes for tiger, or T goes for, let's say, teen, yeah. But this is not t sound. This is thinner sound, the. And how do we pronounce this the? By touching our tongue, tip of the tongue. So we have a set of teeth in our mouth. So we have the front part of the teeth, which we use to bite or cut fruits, especially whenever we eat banana or, let's say, apple, we use the front part of our teeth to take a slice, right? So these front four teeth, just between our canines, these teeth are called incisors. So if you see the rabbit teeth or the middle incisor, we just try to touch our tip of the tongue to the back side of these two incisors on the top jaw. So we have incisors on the top, we have incisors on the bottom jaw. So we try to touch the base of the top incisor, the front two incisor, with the top tip of our tongue and try to pronounce ta, ta, yeah, by releasing the mouth, ta. We open the mouth and produce the sound a with ta. It's not t, where the tip of the tongue touches the upper, let's say, palate of our mouth. We don't touch the palate, and just like we produce the sound t in tiger, but we touch the bottom backside of the incisor, the top in two incisors of our mouth, and try to pronounce the thin the sound, and having double a in the back, it produces a sound instead of or a. So we don't say ta or the, we say ta. Okay, so this ba sound produces the sound b. Similarly, ta sounds, the ta letter ta produces the sound the. Okay, so these are the names of the letter. We should not confuse ourselves by combining the sound and the name. So though alif is pronounced as alif, the sound that it gives is a. Similarly, though ba is pronounced as ba, the sound that it gives is b. Okay, and similarly, though ta is pronounced as ta, we use the sound the while forming the words. So ta, it's a thin the, unlike t in English, and we just pronounce it by touching the tip of our tongue to the back side of our upper incisor and trying to produce the sound ta. Okay, ta. And the rule for the writing this letter is just same as ba. First of all, we create the boat-like structure starting from top right, touching the base of the boat-like structure just in the line, and ending at the top left. Okay, so we start from the top right and we end at the top left to create a boat-like structure where the base of the boat-like structure just touches the ground, and then we place two dots on the top of the letter. So though you might see that it looks like two diamonds, it's basically just two dots, and that's how the computerized text produce the Unicode writing style, or the font of computers. They produce diamond-like structure, but these are just basically two dots. So ta starts from the top right corner. We start creating the boat-like structure where the base of the boat touches the line, and then we end on the top left to end our boat-like structure, and we just add two dots at the end on the top of the boat-like structure. So this was our third letter ta, which produced the sound the while creating the word. Okay, let's move on to our fourth letter, which will be our last letter today. It's again of the same family, boat-like family, but it has a little bit emphasis on our tongue that we are not generally used to in most of the languages. Especially we are not used to this letter in South Asian languages, or even in Urdu, even in Persian. The pronunciation is completely different. In Urdu and in Persian, the letter is pronounced as sa, but we don't pronounce it as sa in Urdu, and there's a little bit of emphasis, a little bit of practice that we need to do in order to pronounce this letter. Though this is written as THAA, Tha, right? But this is not Tha. In Arabic, maybe the, yeah? I mean, in English, maybe TH stands for the or the, like in thesis, right? But in Arabic, this is actually the mixture of the and sa. So let me just try to help you out in order to pronounce this properly. So first of all, I would like you to listen how it is pronounced. So it is pronounced as tha, tha, tha. But how am I able to produce this sound? I'm just touching the tip of my tongue to the same two incisors on the top, but this time not at the back of the incisor, but on like on the tip of the incisor. So tip of the tongue touches the above tip of the two incisors on the top. So tip of the tongue just touches the tip of the incisor on the above jaw, and we try to produce the sound sa by touching the tip of the tongue on the tip of the above two incisor. Th. And since s requires our tongue to be inside the teeth, so the result of the sound is the mixture of s and th, which gives the sound th, right? So just try by pronouncing s by touching the tip of the tongue with the top incisor, tip of the top incisor, and you will get the mixture of the sound th and s to be th. Okay, so I am touching the tip of my tongue with the tip of my top front incisors and trying to pronounce s, but it will result with th, because my tongue is not inside my mouth. It will not be able to pronounce the sound s properly, and it will give me a mixture of s and th, which results to the sound th. This is how the letter is pronounced. But what is the name of the letter? The name of the letter is Thaa. In the same way, we just add a at the end to pronounce it as Thaa. So this letter might require some practice, but if you know the location of our tongue, the teeth, the lips for various letters in Arabic language, we can slowly grasp how the letters are pronounced, and it become easier for us to understand the pronunciation. In the first listen or in the first hearing, we might not be able to grasp the sound, but as soon as we start noticing the location of our tongue, the location of our teeth, and location of our like the placement of the pronunciation, what are we trying to pronounce, so gradually we start understanding how the letters are pronounced. So most of the beginners, they just pronounce it as th, right? But this is not the correct pronounce. So we see, and most of the people say the hadith of Prophet Muhammad. Hadith is wrong. Even we see that in Urdu it is pronounced as hadith, which might be correct in Urdu, but for Arabs that's incorrect. It's neither hadith, it's nor hadith, it's hadith, mixture of both, where the tip of the tongue touches the top of the tip of the top two incisors to produce the sound hadith. Th. So the name of the letter is Thaa, and the sound is th. Okay, so moving on, how do we write this? So we have a margin. It's the same rule. We form a boat-like structure starting from top right, moving towards the base, where the base of the boat structure just touches the line, and then we move towards the top left. After we have made the boat-like structure, we just add 2 dots, just like in Thaa, and add 1 more dot on the top of these 2 dots to create 3 dots, and it becomes the letter Thaa. So 2 dots after the boat-like structure, just like in Thaa, and adding 1 more dot above these 2 dots to make it 3 dots. So if we have 3 dots on the top, it is the letter Thaa. If we have 2 dots on the top of the boat-like structure, it is Thaa. And if we have 1 dot just below the boat-like structure, below the line, then it is Ba. So Ba, Ta, and Tha come from the same family. It's just the matter of number of dots used and the location of the dots to separate the pronunciation. So once again, Alif is simple to pronounce without any emphasis like a or a. It's just simple Alif. While writing, we write it from top to bottom, just ending at the line, top of the line. Okay, Ba, it's a boat-like structure which just touches the base of the boat, just touches the line. We start from top right, end in the top left, and a dot at the bottom of the boat-like structure below the line. Yeah, the name is Ba, but it's pronounced as B. This is Ta, same formation like of that of ba, but instead of the dot going below the line, this time the two dots goes above the boat-like structure to form the letter ta, and it's pronounced as the. The sound that it gives is the. Not ta, not with no ta, it's the. Sound is the, and the name of the letter is ta. Thin. Tha, we join our tip of the tongue to the tip of the top two incisors and try to pronounce sa, but since in order to pronounce sa, our tongue needs to be inside the teeth, but since we are joining the tip of the tongue with the tip of the top two incisors, we will not be able to produce the sound sa perfectly, and resulting the sound tha. So that's how this letter tha is pronounced, by touching the tip of the tongue to the tip of the top two incisors. Tha, tha, tha. So tha is the name of the letter, but it is pronounced as tha. So I hope these 4 letters were simple enough for you to understand. So in our next lesson, we will move on to other letters. So we again have 3 more family. So you can see Jim, Ha, and Ha. So we'll be covering these 3 letters in our next video. So in this video, we covered the first 4 consonants. In next video, we'll cover 3 more. So once you have understood these basics of writing, and the concept of linings, concept of dots, changing the sounds, and the rest of the letters will be easier for you to grasp. I hope you liked the video. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and share the videos so that more of our friends get to learn Arabic, and the learning of the language would be beneficial for all of us. Thank you. I'll see you guys in another video. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.